For over a decade, the world of narcotics has grown faster, more complex, and far more sophisticated than most people realize. Mexican cartels, once seen as mere street gangs or violent factions, have transformed into sprawling multinational enterprises, operating with precision and strategy akin to Fortune 500 companies. Today, their influence is not limited to Mexico. It reaches every corner of the Americas and beyond. From their hidden operations, these cartels coordinate a vast network of criminal groups, orchestrating the production, transportation, and distribution of illegal drugs, all while remaining largely invisible to the public eye. The modern drug trade does not begin in Mexico, as many imagine. Its true roots are in South America, in the lush fields and dense jungles of Colombia, Peru, and Bolivia. These countries are the primary producers of coca, the raw material from which cocaine is derived, a commodity more valuable than gold in certain circles. In these regions, coca is cultivated with painstaking care, nurtured through generations of agricultural expertise, often under the shadow of armed protection. From these far-flung plantations, the harvested product embarks on a perilous journey. Hidden along secretive mountain paths and concealed river routes, the shipments cross into Ecuador and Venezuela, two pivotal transit points. Once they reach these territories, the next stage of the journey begins. Air transport. Planes, often small and inconspicuous, ferry tons of cocaine into Central America, countries like Honduras, Nicaragua, Guatemala, and El Salvador before the drugs finally arrive in Mexico. From there, a sophisticated system of land and sea routes disperses the product across the United States, the world's largest consumer of cocaine. Each stage is meticulously coordinated. By 2018, the Mexican cartel's share of this business was estimated at nearly $33 billion, and that figure has only increased over the years. The sheer volume of wealth generated by the drug trade has propelled cartels into an entirely new arena: global money laundering. The authorities in the United States, despite their resources and technology, find themselves overwhelmed. Every day, agents of the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, confront the same daunting question: how do these cartels move $70 million a day without leaving a trace? Tracking illicit funds would seem straightforward in theory. The DEA has unparalleled access to intelligence, cutting-edge technology, and a vast network of informants and field agents. It monitors suspicious transactions across the globe and collaborates with foreign governments to identify financial irregularities. Yet, when it comes to Mexican cartels, even these formidable tools often fall short. The reason is structural. In the past, capturing a drug lord could dismantle a cartel. The organization's operations were tightly centered around its leader, and removing that figurehead often resulted in chaos and collapse. That is no longer the case. Take Joaquin Guzman Loera, better known as El Chapo, the notorious leader of the Sinaloa cartel. Captured multiple times, extradited to the United States, and subjected to one of the most comprehensive international law enforcement operations in history, El Chapo's arrest was expected to mark the decline of his organization. Instead, 8 years later, the Sinaloa cartel remains not only operational but thriving. The reason is simple, yet profound. The cartel's internal structure is resilient and decentralized. From the operatives who manage the distribution of narcotics to those overseeing complex money laundering operations, the machinery keeps running. Leadership transitions occur without disrupting business, and the organization continues to expand its reach across Mexico and the Americas. Organized crime in Mexico is a major economic force. According to research published in Science magazine, it is the 5th largest employer in the country, drawing over 175,000 people into its networks. Detecting and tracing the flow of funds in such a vast system is comparable to finding a single needle in an enormous haystack. Every year, cartels refine their methods, simultaneously diversifying and concealing their operations, leaving law enforcement agencies scrambling to keep up. The scope of cartel influence goes far beyond drugs. In recent years, they have infiltrated industries ranging from agriculture to mining, exploiting legal markets to launder illicit profits. For example, the state of Michoacán in western Mexico is considered the heart of the country's avocado production, often referred to as green gold due to its profitability. Criminal groups, most notably Los Viagras, have seized farmland from local owners and expanded their own plantations, sometimes engaging in illegal deforestation to increase production. In this region alone, estimates suggest that 12 rival criminal groups are vying for control, not only for the cash flow but also for the opportunity to convert dirty revenue into seemingly legitimate profits. The cartel's presence in resource-rich areas is not limited to agriculture. States like Zacatecas and Durango, major producers of gold, silver, copper, iron, and zinc, have also fallen under their influence. Mining operations are subjected to extortion, with companies forced to pay protection money to groups like Los Zetas or the Knights Templar cartel. In addition, illegal mines extract raw materials, which are then exported, often to countries like China, with little chance of authorities tracing the profits. Arms trafficking is another lucrative endeavor. Along the Mexican-American border, from Baja California to Tamaulipas, an intricate network of corridors ensures the movement of weapons from the United States into cartel hands. Frontmen and smaller groups facilitate a constant flow, with nearly 300,000 firearms illegally crossing the border each year. These weapons not only sustain cartel operations but further entrench their power, making enforcement a constant challenge. Human trafficking has emerged as yet another significant source of income. Thousands of migrants from Central America, Cuba, Panama, Ecuador, Colombia, and Venezuela risked their lives to reach the United States. In the past, these journeys were often guided by independent coyotes, but cartels have now established their own invisible borders, controlling and profiting from migration. By December 2023, roughly 300,000 migrants arrived at the U.S. border, many paying cartels between $1,500 and $10,000 for safe passage. This enterprise alone generates an estimated $10 billion annually, a number that continues to rise amid political, economic, and social instability in the region. Given the breadth of their operations, Mexican cartels have not only diversified but systematized their financial activities, particularly through money laundering. The DEA's early assumption that illicit funds would leave detectable trails proved naive. The cartels developed a sophisticated mechanism capable of moving $70 million daily with precision, efficiency, and near invisibility. This machinery operates around the clock, continuously adapting to evade detection. For decades, the cartels refined this system, ensuring that any disruption in one channel is quickly replaced by another, much like a virus mutating to survive. International authorities have identified several key methods used to launder cartel money, yet none have proved entirely effective. Paradoxically, some of these strategies are not rooted in Mexico at all, but in the United States itself. With a Mexican population of approximately 38 million, the U.S. offers fertile ground for money laundering. Remittances funds sent by workers back to Mexico are a primary conduit. In 2022 alone, Mexico received $67 billion in remittances, some of which were used by cartels to integrate illicit profits into the formal financial system. By spreading these payments across countless accounts held by ordinary citizens, housewives, students, and small business owners, the cartels make tracking extraordinarily difficult. Cryptocurrency has become another favored channel. By converting cash into digital assets like Bitcoin, often through transactions deliberately kept below regulatory thresholds, cartels are able to move enormous sums invisibly across borders. Once on the blockchain, the funds effectively disappear, leaving law enforcement agencies struggling to follow the trail. Annual estimates suggest that cartels launder roughly $25 billion each year through cryptocurrency. China has also emerged as a key player in the laundering network. Cartels exploit Chinese financial systems by partnering with small and medium-sized businesses, often owned by individuals facing economic hardship. Cash is introduced as company revenue, distributed across multiple accounts, and converted into Mexican pesos on international markets, leaving authorities with few avenues for detection. This method allows cartels to reintroduce illicit funds into the global financial system cleanly, efficiently, and virtually undetected. Despite the increasing pressure from governments worldwide, cartels have demonstrated an uncanny ability to adapt. Their networks are now a global, self-sustaining enterprise capable of moving billions annually across industries, countries, and digital platforms, all while maintaining near-total operational security. The scale of their operations, combined with their adaptability, means that authorities are often reacting rather than proactively controlling these networks. Today, organized crime in Mexico and its international offshoots represent more than just a law enforcement challenge. They are a complex, evolving system that intersects with legitimate economies, global finance, and even social structures. The stakes are immense. Every failure to intercept illicit funds strengthens the cartels, empowers their leaders, and perpetuates cycles of violence and exploitation across the Americas. In the end, the drug trade has transformed from a simple exchange of contraband into a sophisticated global enterprise. It is no longer about selling cocaine on the streets, but about orchestrating an intricate web of production, trafficking, and financial manipulation. Mexican cartels have proven remarkably resilient, adapting to law enforcement strategies, and finding new avenues for profit wherever restrictions arise. Their evolution is a stark reminder. The world of organized crime is not static, and despite decades of intervention, it remains one step ahead of the authorities tasked with stopping it. As of now, the full scale and ingenuity of these criminal networks are only partially understood. Their ability to generate billions in revenue, launder vast sums of money daily, and maintain operational continuity underscores a critical reality. Organized crime is no longer a regional problem. It is a global enterprise, evolving with technology, exploiting legal loopholes, and shaping the economic and social landscapes of entire nations. Only time will tell how long these networks can maintain their dominance. What is certain, however, is that the modern cartel is no longer just a violent gang. It is a complex, adaptive machine capable of evading even the most sophisticated surveillance systems and redefining the rules of the drug game as we know it.